KA Bullets YouTube channel.
Hurry up, now tell us why you're here.
We know that Slide Powers is retired, and here's his nephew, Slider Petrolsky, who is a rookie this season. Same with Ron Blaster, Ivan Yoder, and also Landon Leakspill. WJ Lights now has this look for the new console, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Johnny Blaber crashed in practice for the Florida 500. Now to the actual race. Dale Earnhardt will start at pole position, but he'll quickly lose the lead to Davey Carlson, who will lead until lap 5 before he'll lose the lead to Larry Smith, who will only lead to lap 9. But then, Davey Carlson will retake the lead, and he'll lead all the way to lap 12. But on lap 12, Hall Ingus will take the lead, and he'll lead all the way to lap 17. But then, WJ Lights, with his new paint job, will lead all the way to lap 24. But then he'll lose the lead to Ken Schrader, who will lead for 4 laps before quickly losing the lead to Sterling Carlin, who will lead all the way to lap 31. He will lose the lead to the reigning champion, Clint Shiftwright, who will lead all the way to lap 50 for 19 laps. But Mark Carton will lead for 6 laps after that, but then he'll lose the lead to Bill Racelock, who will lead all the way to lap 59. He'll lose the lead to Rusty Wheelhouse, who will lead all the way to lap 64, just for 4 laps. But then, Craig Shiftwright will take the lead from him, and he'll lead for the next 5 laps after that. But then, Dale Earnhardt will lead for the next... just 8 laps. And now number 88, Dale Carrett, will take the lead from him, leading for the next 4 laps. Then the King will take the lead for the next 20 laps. Wait, 20?! But then, Murray Clutchburn will take the lead from him, leading for the next 6 laps. But then, the King will retake the lead and lead for 65 laps?! How?! Wait, what?! But then, Larry Smith will take the lead from him and lead all the way to lap 175. And Hall Ingus has just taken the lead on lap 175. But then, Chick Hicks does his thing. He's 15th as of lap 175, where he'll crash Ruby Easy Oaks, Eugene Karbareski, who goes airborne, Billy Oil Changer, Ward Burnton, and also Ron Blaster, who's out for 2 races. This is what he had to say to WJ Lights. Chick Hicks will also wreck Kyle Traxton and his crew chief in the pits. And now they're both out for 10 races! Chick Hicks will be suspended for 10 races for his actions. Ryan Thunderbolt Jr. will start in the lead after the caution, but then he'll quickly lose the lead to Larry Smith, who will lead all the way to lap 202 for 25 laps. Ernie Gearson will take the lead for a couple laps, but then quickly lose the lead to Misty Motocross, who will lead only on lap 205 because Alloy Wilson is 7th as of lap 205, and he'll wreck WJ Lights because of a console rivalry. And now WJ Lights is out for 3 races. Daryl Draggard will restart the race after caution, but now he's out! Oh, he went airborne and is out because of Rusty Wheelhouse, who will lead all the way to lap 228 for a total of 21 laps. And then Billy Ford will take the lead from that until lap 230. Rusty Wheelhouse will lead all the way to lap 242, but then he'll lose the lead to the King, who will lead for 50 laps! But then, Jack Spinner will have the greatest 5 laps of his career. Leading for 5 laps, he'll lap Greg Luck. Oh, he's actually spins him out. And Alan Karwicki will lead for 18 laps! And now these cars are lapped by him. Davey Carlson will take the lead after that and lead to lap 321. But then he'll lose the lead to the other 28, Andrew Axler, who will lead for only to lap 324. Mark Carton will take the lead for 4 laps after that, but then he'll quickly lose the lead to the King, who will actually lead till lap 335. And he needs to take a pit stop. And why is he out, you ask? Because he got pranked by Dawn Alternators by putting sand in the fuel tank. And now Dawn Alternators will be suspended for 3 races for pulling this prank. Misty Motocross will take the lead and lead to lap 338, but then Neil Brackett will take the lead, and he'll lead to all the way to lap 340. And now he's out because of Rusty Wheelhouse again. And he'll lead for the next 9 laps. But then Alan Karwicki will take the lead from him and lead all the way to lap 354. And then Rusty Wheelhouse will retake the lead and lead for the next 4 laps after that. But then Alan Karwicki will retake the lead from him, leading to lap 363. But then he'll lose the lead again to Rusty Wheelhouse, who will lead all the way to lap 369 for a total of 6 laps. But then Dale Earnhardt will take the lead all the way to lap 380 for a total of 21 laps. Alan Karwicki will retake the lead for 7 laps until lap 387, where he'll lose the lead again to Rusty Wheelhouse, who will lead all the way to lap 392. But a different car will take the lead, being Sterling Carlin, who will lead to lap 397. He will also lap more cars on the field. Clint Shiftwright will take the lead and lead for the next 36 laps! But then Hall Ingus will take the lead from him and lead just for the next 10. But then Davey Carlson will retake the lead and lead to lap 448, just for 5 laps. But then Dale Earnhardt will retake the lead and lead to lap 455 for a total of 7 laps. But then Bill Racelot will lead all the way to lap 462. But then he'll lose the lead again to Dale Earnhardt, who just retakes the lead for 20 laps. But then he'll lose the lead to Rusty Wheelhouse, who is actually no, he doesn't. But he's 5th as of lap 42, where he crashes Murray Clutchburn, who is out. Davey Carlson will take the lead after this and lead to lap 49, where he'll lose the lead to Dale Carr, who will lead all the way to lap 494. But then Rusty Wheelhouse will retake the lead and lead for the next 2 laps. But then Davey Carlson will lead all the way to lap 499. But his friend Ernie Swervin passes him at the last moment, winning the 1991 Florida 500. Wait, what? And Sterling Carlin only loses by 8 feet. Here are the results of the 1991 Florida 500.
Remember to press the notifications button, which goes ring, ring, ring after you press it. And lightning strikes back, and that's as if you subscribed, of course. And thank you for watching this entire video.
KA Bullets YouTube channel.
Hurry up, now tell us why you're here.
Chuck Armstrong will start the second race. He'll lead for a few laps, but then Ken Schrader will... No! He goes airborne on lap 169. But then Rusty Wheelhouse will wreck 6 more cars after Ken Schrader this race. Misty Motocross would end up winning the second race. The very next race, Larry Smith will start at pole position for the 3rd race. He'll lead for a few laps, but then now he's out because of Dale Earnhardt, who will lead for 345 laps. And now he wins the 3rd race. The 4th race is started by Krusty Roeder, who will only lead for 2 laps, and Cole Speedland will be out for 4 races because of an engine failure. The King will almost win the 4th race, but lose very narrowly to Davey Carlson, who will win the 4th race. Next race, Matthew Fuel at Wheel will... Wait, what? Matthew Fuel at Wheel will start at pole position. But what's less weird is that he's out for the season because of Kyle Traxon, who is put down 3 laps because of this. Eugene Karbareski is out for 6 races because he gets crashed by Rusty Wheelhouse, who will lead until lap 224 for 19 grueling laps. WJ Lights is 10th as of lap 224, where he'll crash Alloy Wilson, who will be out next race. And Alloy is not happy about that. Clint Shiftwright will win the 5th race. 6th race is started by Davey Carlson, who starts at pole position. But then Billy Oilchanger will go airborne on lap 221. And that's caused by Rusty Wheelhouse again, who will only lose by 7 feet, losing to Clint Shiftwright, who will win the 6th race. Andrew Axler will start the 7th race. He'll lead for a few laps before Terry Carboni will take the lead and lead for 308 laps out of the entire race. But then Alloy Wilson will be 8th as of lap 335, where he'll crash WJ Lights, Kyle Traxon, Murray Clutchburn, Krusty Roeder, Jonathan Melcher, and Johnny Blamer. Chick Hicks, while he's suspended, will react to this crash. Yes, Alloy Witt, yes. Terry Carboni will almost win the 7th race, but in the end, he'll lose to the pole sitter, Andrew Axler, who will win the 7th race, his first win in a while. Dale Carr will start at pole position for the 8th race. He'll lead for a few laps, but then Rusty Wheelhouse is 6th as of lap 341, where he'll actually wreck Dale Earnhardt? He wrecks Dale Earnhardt! And then Clint Shiftwright will win the 8th race. Clint's father, Craig, will start the 9th race. He will lead for a few laps. But then, John Hicks is 23rd as of lap 197, where he'll crash Mike Yankee. He's now out for the season! But luckily, Mike Yankee is still alive. John Hicks will be suspended for the rest of the season for what he did. Chick Hicks' reaction is, "That's my little brother!" Clint Shiftwright will end up winning this race. He also wins by quite a lot. Alloy Wilson will start the 10th race. He'll lead for a few laps, and WJ Lights is 4th as of just lap 1, and then Neil Brackett will T-bone Alloy Wilson, who is now out for 5 races, and Larry Smith out for 4. The King says this to WJ Lights. Jonathan Melcher is 8th as of lap 172, where he'll wreck Clint Shiftwright. Misty Motocross will win the 10th race. Misty Motocross would also win the next 2 races, making her win 3 races in a row. But Ernie Swerven would get pole position for the 13th race. He'll lead for a while, but then Chick Hicks will be 5th as of lap 244, where he eliminates every car except 3. Nick Charger and Will Drafter flipped in the big one. And of course, Ernie Swerven went airborne. The King didn't get caught in the big one, neither did Alan Karwicki or Chuck Armstrong. Chick Hicks would be suspended for 5 races for causing the big one. Chuck Armstrong would lose by 35 feet in this race. And then he'll of course lose to the King, who would win the 13th race. The 14th race is started by Murray Klotchberg, who actually got caught in the big one. He'll lead for a few laps, but then Kyle Traxon is 17th as of lap 138, where he'll crash Dave Laney and Brush Kerber, who will be out for the season. And now Kyle Traxon will be suspended for 20 races for his actions. Dale Carrett is out on lap 238, same with Terry Carboni because they crashed into each other. Larry Smith would win the 14th race with a 100-foot cushion. Dale Earnhardt will lead for 385 laps, including pole, of the 15th race, which he wins. Hall Ingus will end up starting the 16th race, but then the King will end up leading for 2 laps with his eyes closed. Jonathan Melcher will T-bone his rival Cole Speedland on lap 281, and now he's out. WJ Lights will get Alloy Wilson into the catch fence, and Alloy Wilson goes into the catch fence, which makes him miss 6 races. I feel bad for Alloy Wilson, but not as bad because WJ is my crew chief. Besides, Clint Shiftwright would win the 16th race, that catch fence race. The 17th race starts with Davey Carlson at pole position, but then Rusty Wheelhouse will take the lead and cause a crash that eliminates 21 cars! And now Clint Shiftwright will win the 17th race. Wait, what? WJ Lights will start pole position for the 18th race. Good job, WJ. And now he's out because of Ron Blaster. Why? And he only leads for a bit because Mark Carton would take the lead from him. He'll lead for these laps shown here. And he'll almost win the 18th race. But in the end, he comes second to Clint Shiftwright, who will win the 18th race. Yet another victory for him. Billy Oilchanger will take the lead, will start pole position for the 19th race. But now he's out for the season because of Chick Hicks, who will be suspended for another 5 races. Rusty Wheelhouse will win the 19th race, which means that he didn't cause any crashes. Ruby Easy Oaks will start at pole position for the 20th race, but then Eugene Karbareski will be 8th as of lap 157, where he'll flip Mark Landis, who goes airborne and lands 70 yards away. Andrew Axler led more laps than the winner. That winner is Clint Shiftwright, who led fewer laps than Andrew Axler, but he still won. Ken Schrader would start at pole position for the 21st race, but he'll quickly lose the lead to Davey Carlson, who would lead for... he accidentally spins out, which involves 18 cars. Craig Shiftwright will win the 21st race for simply not being caught in the spin-out crash. Misty Motocross will start at pole position for the 22nd race, and Claude Scruggs, he's 31st as of lap 76, where he'll eliminate 8 cars, including himself. Rusty Wheelhouse will eliminate 15 cars! But sadly, Jack Spinner will have to enter an early retirement. Misty Motocross almost won the 22nd race, but in the end, Murray Clatchburn wins the 22nd race. Chuck Armstrong will start pole position for the 23rd race. Johnny Blamer is out on lap 58 because he spun out. Alloy Wilson is 5th as of lap 103, where he'll crash WJ Lights. And Dale Earnhardt will lead for 286 laps. Misty Motocross will win the 23rd race. And also, here's Claude Scruggs reacting, and he didn't even qualify for that race. Michael Cartrip will surprisingly start at pole position for the 24th race. What's a bit more accurate is that Rusty Wheelhouse will be 16th as of lap 268, where he'll crash Ryan Thunderbolt Jr., who's out for the season! WJ Lights is 9th as of lap 329, where he'll crash Alloy Wilson again! But this time, he's out for 4 races. Bill Racelaw will end up almost winning the 24th race, but in the end, he'll lose to Misty Motocross, who wins yet again. The very next race, Misty Motocross wins again! Oh! Again! 25th and 26th races! Wow, Misty Motocross is really good this year. And also, Ernie Gearson will start pole position for the 27th race, but Rusty Cornfield will lead for 256 laps! But quickly lose the lead to Andrew Axler, who will almost win the 27th race. But in the end, Chick Hicks has to win the 27th race. At least Sterling Carlin will start pole position for the 28th race. Let's see what happens here. Dale Earnhardt will lead for 375 laps! And he wins. But that's better than Chick Hicks winning. Neil Brackett will end up starting the 29th race, where he leads, but Alloy Wilson is 6th as of lap 31, where he of course crashes WJ Lights. But also Neil Brackett, who's out next race. Rusty Wheelhouse only lost by 5 feet that race, but in the end, he loses to Ernie Gearson, which I'm glad he won the 29th race, because he wouldn't have won any other races this season if he didn't. Andrew Axler will start pole position for the 30th race, but Daryl Draggard is 37th as of lap 89, crashes into Ivan Yoder, who is now out for the season! And Mark Carton will almost win this race, but surprisingly lose to Alan Karwicki, who will win the 30th race this year. Hall Ingus will start the 31st race. He'll lead for a few laps, but then now he's out because of Rusty Wheelhouse, who will lead for 300 laps! But then, WJ Lights is 11th as of lap 306, where he'll crash his rival, Alloy Wilson, who's out next race. The King will win the 31st race, pretty much dominating the second half of the race. Davey Carlson will start at pole position for the 32nd race, but then Chick Hicks will be 23rd as of lap 163, where he'll crash Jeremy Carfield and Darren Leadfoot, ending their season, and also Brian Johnson, who will have to miss the first 5 races of next season. And also, Chick Hicks will be suspended for almost killing him for the rest of the season. Eugene Karbareski will almost win the 32nd race, but in the end, Clint Shiftright will win the 32nd race. The very next race, the King will start at pole position, where he'll lead for the first few laps before Larry Smith will lead, and now he's out for 2 races because of an awful crash. Misty Motocross will almost win the 33rd race, but in the end, the King will still win the 33rd race. The very next race, the King will come second to Dale Carrett for the pole. He'll lead for the first few laps, but then Kyle Traxon will win the 34th race after wrecking Dale Carrett. Mark Carton will luckily start at pole position for the 35th race, but Sammy Smelter is 36th as of lap 48. And Sammy Smelter! That's gross! Worse than 1987! And James Robson is now considering retirement. Kyle Traxon sadly wins the 35th race. But Kenny Shiftright came second that race. As you can see, Misty Motocross is on the top. She can compete with Clint Clint Shiftright, the King, and Dale Earnhardt for the Piston Cup. Davey Carlson and Rusty Wheelhouse are somehow mathematically in it. These two, Andrew Axel and Mark Carton, came close, but not close enough to be able to mathematically win the Piston Cup this season.
Remember to press the notifications button, which goes ring, ring, ring after you press it. And lightning strikes back, and that's as if you subscribed, of course. And thank you for watching this entire video.
Clint Shiftright has this look in the Florida 500 and the Dinoco 400 of 1991.
KA Bullets YouTube channel.
Hurry up, now tell us why you're here.
We already know that these three can win the 1991 Piston Cup, but Bill Racelot will start at pole position and lead for the first 9 laps, but then his rival Dale Earnhardt will take the lead and lead for the next 8 laps after that. On lap 17, Murray Clutchburn will take the lead. He will lead all the way to lap 25 for another 8 laps, but then Davey Carlson will take the lead on lap 25 and lead for the next 40 laps, but then Mark Carton will take the lead on lap 65 and lead all the way to lap 83. But Eugene Karbareski is 16th as of lap 83, where he'll crash Chuck Armstrong, Sterling Carlin, Greg Candyman, Ryan Shields, Phil Pitstops, Ward Burnton, and Kevin Racing Tire. Clint Shiftright will take the lead for the next 4 laps after the caution. He will quickly lose the lead to Terry Carboni, who will take the lead all the way to lap 93, where he will lose the lead to Misty Motocross, who will lead all the way to lap 97, just lap 97, but then Billy Ford will take the lead when she's done. He'll only lead on lap 98, but on lap 99, he'll lose the lead to Hall Ingus, who will lead all the way to lap 106 for a total of 7 laps, but then Rusty Wheelhouse is 14th as of lap 106, where he'll crash Ken Schrader and Kevin Phillips. Good thing Rusty Wheelhouse is out of the lead, because Larry Smith will lead to lap 110. But now Larry Smith is out, down 2 laps because of Dale Earnhardt, who will lead all the way to lap 130 for a total of 19 laps. Alan Karwicki will lead for 4 laps after that, but then he'll lose the lead to Mark Carton, who will lead all the way to lap 139. And of course he'll lose the lead to Clint Shiftright, who will lead to lap 173 for a total of 13 laps. Davey Carlson will take the lead after he's done and lead all the way to lap 178, only to lose the lead to his friend Neil Brackett, who will lead to lap 183. But then Kyle Traxon will take the lead for 2 laps. Doesn't cause a crash, but Ernie Swerven will take the lead after that. He will lead all the way to lap 197, where Brielle Dustfield will take the lead. She is only the 3rd female car to ever lead a lap. WJ Lights is 8th as of lap 199, where of course he'll crash his rival Alloy Wilson, who is retiring as well. And he doesn't want to go out like that, so he's really upset about how his career ended. Clint Shiftright will once again take the lead after the caution and lead for the next 12 laps. The King will take the lead, and he'll lead all the way to lap 218. But then, Craig Shiftright will take the lead from him, but only on lap 219, since Craig Shiftright is quite bad tires. The King will also take the lead for the next 8 laps after that. And now Larry Smith and Michael Cartrip crash into each other, meaning that they're out. Krusty Rotor will take the lead all the way to lap 233. Clint Shiftright will take the lead for the next 22 laps, but then he'll lose the lead to his brother, Kenny Shiftright, who will lead all the way to lap 263. Wait, what? But then Dale Carrett will take the lead from him, leading for just 2 laps. And Ernie Gearson will do exactly the same thing by only leading 2 laps. But he's out because of Kyle Traxon, who will lead for 9 laps. But then he'll lose the lead to Dale Earnhardt, who will lead all the way to lap 294. But he'll lose the lead to Terry Carboni, who will lead all the way to lap 302, just for 6 laps in fact. WJ Lights will take the lead after that, leading for the next 15 laps. But then he'll lose the lead to Bill Racelot, who will lead all the way to lap 330. Wait, what? But then Davey Carlson will take the lead from him, all the way until lap 341. Rusty Wheelhouse is 6th as of lap 341, where he'll crash Krusty Rotor, Kenny Shiftright, and Billy Ford, Murray Clutchburn will lead for just 6 laps after the caution, but then Jonathan Melter will take his second as of lap 348, where he'll of course wreck Murray Clutchburn, who is out, and Cole Speedland is also out. The King will take the lead for 2 laps after the caution, but then Rusty Wheelhouse will take the lead from after that for just 6 laps. The King will retake the lead after this and lead to lap 363, but then Dale Earnhardt will take the lead from him, and he'll lead for the next 3 laps. And then he'll lose the lead again to Rusty Wheelhouse, who will lead to lap 368, but then he'll once again lose the lead to the King, who will lead all the way to lap 374, and then he'll lose the lead again to Dale Earnhardt, who will lead all the way to lap 378, and Rusty Wheelhouse just retakes the lead again. Wait, what? Now it's lap 380, and the King will take the lead again. He'll lead for the next 6 laps, and then he'll lose the lead again to Dale Earnhardt. Wait, why is it just the same 3 cars leading? But Dale Earnhardt leads to lap 391 anyways. The King will retake the lead from Dale Earnhardt and lead all the way to lap 395. But then, Rusty Wheelhouse, hoping to make the last lead change, will take the lead on lap 396. But it's not the last lead change because the King just takes the lead again. To lap 398. But then, Misty Motocross will speed up and lead all the way on the last lap. But there's a last lap caution. And Clint Shiftwright, all the way back from 6th, will take the lead and win the 1991 Dinoco 400. There was no caution because it's the last lap. But that also means Clint Shiftwright wins the 1991 Piston Cup. And now, he's the second Shiftwright to have a back-to-back championship. Misty Motocross came second because, well, seriously, that crash, the last lap crash. The King was also involved in that crash, but did come third. The crash was caused by Rusty Wheelhouse, who came in 5th. Dale Earnhardt fell from 1 position from last season. Mark Carton came 6th, and he is number 6. Well, Bill Wacelot came in 8th, pushing his position up from 10th from last race. And Hall Ingus just barely makes it into the top 10. Murray Clutchburn has recovered from his bad form from last season. But Larry Smith was really unlucky this season. And also Ken Schrader, who failed to make the top 20. And also, Eugene Karbareski gets into the top 20. But look who is in the top... Kyle Traxton and Chick Hicks are not in the top 20! Which is great! Alloy Wilson is 22nd, which is his second worst finish ever. His worst finish was 25th, when he was in his rookie season of 1971. Chick Hicks also finished below Kyle Traxton, which made him really mad. And also Terry Cabani finished at least 150 points ahead of Chick Hicks. Ernie Swerven had a really good season this year, and also finished 28th. Michael Cartrip only finished the higher position because, a lot of cars crashed out for the season, so yeah. Kenny Shiftwright also managed to find his place back in the top 40. And his father Craig finishes 19th. Billy Ford also does better for a similar reason. Jeremy Carfield's only down because he was out for the season after some 30-something race. And that's also why Mike Yankee is not in the top 40, because he only raced 9 races. Daryl Draggard also had a good season, finishing 39th. And Claude Scruggs, managing to qualify for 15 races, still finished in the top 40. And yeah, actually I've reacted to most of this already. But Cole Speedland beat Jonathan Melter again, which is good. Ricky Sludd had a pretty average season, finishing 32nd. Besides, these results were actually pretty lopsided because of all the crashes.
Remember to press the notifications button, which goes ring, ring, ring after you press it. And lightning strikes back, and that's as if you subscribe, of course. And thank you for watching this entire video.
You will also notice that Phil Pitstops and Ryan Thunderbolt Jr. are not in the top 40. Well, this is because of the 13th race, the big one. They got caught in the big one, and ever since that race, Phil Pitstops and Ryan Thunderbolt Jr. have not been performing as usual, thus meaning they could not finish in the top 40. After all, Ryan Thunderbolt Jr. was out for the season in an earlier race.